Okay, okay, and welcome everyone to this week's Link for Growth show. Sorry for the delay in starting, but we had a few technical problems that unfortunately couldn't be solved that easily. But we have lots to talk about, and we have a special guest, and we have Paul Violet, who helps organise several Link for Growth districts in East Hertfordshire, North East London, and Essex. And just a quick reminder that this week, so you can get in touch with us easier, we've introduced a special hashtag, so you can contact us on the show via Twitter at SW Herts, using the hashtag for the show anyway, L4G SW Herts TV. That's L4G SW Herts TV if you want to get in touch with us during the show, and if you want to get in touch with us during the week, you can use the Twitter feed that's shown there also below. Okay, so Paul, can you give us a very brief intro about who you are and what you do for Link for Growth, please?
Oh, good grief. Can you hear me? Just put
yes.
Still okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
What do? Regional coordinator looking after Central Herts, East Herts system, East and West Essex, and East and North East London.
Okay.
With the able assistance of Jane Walker, who is district leader for North East London.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about that in a minute, but first of all, we're going to go through some of our news here locally, and then we'll come back to you to get more details about why you belong to Link for Growth, why you joined it, and the areas that you cover and the kind of events that you hold out there. So, Alex, we're joining us as usual, and not only because Neal's away, you're covering sports as well as local news this week.
Yeah, that is right. Good afternoon, Diane. Good afternoon, viewers. Yeah, I'll be hot desking it today, so you'll see me run off from the local news politics desk, hop over to sport, and cover all the politics, sport, and local news. It's certainly been a busy week, as we all know, in Watford and the South West Herts. So yeah, lots of news, and lots of news.
Good. I look forward to seeing you paint the wall behind you then between the two different desks.
Yeah.
Right. Catherine, you've got lots of local charity news for us, and the events that have happened and coming up in the next week or so, plus your usual restaurant review.
Absolutely, yes, it's been a busy week. We've got news from Watford New Hope Trust, we've got news from Peace Hospice, we've got news from the Michael Green Foundation, and yes, a very nice restaurant in Bushy Heath. Stay tuned for more.
Okay, and Chris, as usual, you're out and about, as we can see, and where exactly are you?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because I've never knew this place. Well, I knew this canal existed, which is, of course, the Grand Union Canal. But how I've got to this particular spot is on a journey that I would never have imagined, to be honest. So I'm down here on the canal because next to the canal is something that we discovered was here only last week, and all will be revealed in a little while.
Okay, so this is completely different to what I thought we were going to cover, but that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? You know.
And I'm going to cover something else you're not expecting later as well. So it's going to be a double unexpected whammy from me.
Oh dear! No wonder I highlight your place in the running order in red. It's kind of like a danger signal to everyone else. Okay, last week also saw a wide range of events for Link for Growth in South West Herts, starting on Saturday with the market with Chris and Alex. Alex, what happened there? Anything exciting or anything new to report?
I think, hang on, Saturday, it was a long time ago this week. Saturday, it was cold. It wasn't the best weather in the market. Chris and I had the heating on. It was not very pleasant. We had a chat to a couple of the traders who seemed to be a few more moving out. And yeah, so it was a quiet one really. We just caught up in a few things, worked on a few things for Link for Growth. And yeah, it was just a quiet day on the market really. Okay,
well I saw all the photos and to make it, and the fact that heating was on beginning, middle of June. Really says something about the quality of this year's summer, doesn't it?
No, I mean the summer isn't. I wouldn't say the summer's been the problem. It's more to do with the fact that the market doesn't let the summer in. It's almost by accident that Watford Borough Council and Town and Country and the architects have created an air-conditioned market without thinking about it. It just is always cold in the whether it's winter time or summertime, it is always cold in there. It's like they've left the air conditioning on.
And it's an outdoor market. And then on Monday I covered the Link for Coffee at Ocean Bells, which only wasn't particularly well attended, but I think that we're starting to get people taking time off for holiday and stuff like that. And then on Tuesday, and I was covering that, sorry, because you were off doing your exams, which I trust went well. And then and Chris was on his travel. And on Tuesday, Alex, I gather you were at the kitchen in Croxley for another coffee.
Yeah, really good. This was the third Link for Coffee we've had in the kitchen. We moved it up from the Riding Sun 3 months ago, so I've been a couple of now. And yeah, it was a really good event. We had a good turnout and lots of people who hadn't necessarily met each other but knew of each other. So, in particular, Linda, who runs the kitchen, and Debbie King had a long chat about honey and how Debbie can sell some of her honey in the kitchen, and how the kitchen themselves have collaborated with, I think it's Whiteheath Farm out in that bit of the country, Ricky, out that way, to produce ice cream in the shop. So they're going to produce the milk, the farm are going to produce the milk for the shop to produce ice creams. So yeah, lots of good little collaborations between local businesses and stuff working together there.
Great. And finally, last night was the Watford L4G drinks, and we had about 12 people turn up, which was, I think, quite good considering the events that happened in Watford yesterday, which you're going to talk, Alex is going to tell us more about later, and also the fact that because the usual venue was being refurbished, we had to move up the road to a different pub and a different location. But we're back in Wetherspoons next month for the drinks, so hopefully we'll get our usual 20 or so people turning up. Okay, so for an independent and unbiased view about what we're doing in West Herts, South West Herts, ask Paul Violet to join us and tell us how he thinks we're doing and tell us more about his role in Link for Growth.
Okay, shall I start with what you mentioned earlier as to why I got involved in the first place, or is this not...
Okay.
Lost movement.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, sorry, I seem to lose contact there for a second. Have you lost me?
No, you're there. You're back.
Right, it seems to be a bit... we keep breaking up for some reason or other.
Well, that's to do with the speed of the Wi-Fi, but we'll struggle on, and if it gets too bad, we'll drop it. But start and tell us how you started Link for Growth.
I don't know why the connection's suddenly gone. Weird. You're not hearing me, are you?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Not hearing me at all.
We are hearing you, Paul.
Completely quiet.
Okay, well.
Is that any better?
Right, I've had to eject Paul from the broadcast, so we'll come back to Paul if we get the opportunity for him to come back in a bit later, which is a real shame because I know he's got lots of interesting things to say. But obviously the gremlins we had earlier have come back. Anyway, in the meantime, Alex, you've got some news about several planning applications, including one with Herts County Council refusing permission for a gravel pit near Maple Cross.
Yeah, that is right, Diane. Hold on, just moving back to the politics desk. Yeah, so news this week that around the Maple Cross West Hyde area, Herts County Council had a plan to build a kind of mining gravel pit which would look to extract minerals out of the area, and then local residents are kind of up in arms about it, and they're worried about building on the Greenbelt area. They believe it's a really green area, part of the Greenbelt, and they're horrified by the plans and reject them. Hang on, no, that's bear with me, hold on. Yeah, they're going to fight the new proposals, and they've got concerns over the groundwater, how the extraction of the minerals and the sand and how it's all going to progress will affect the groundwater. So they're up in arms. It looks like it's another one of the running sagas that we'll come back to in the coming weeks and months in the show, where the council do one thing, the residents project, so the council change their plans, and it'll be one of those. It might be an on-running saga like Farm Terrace and other ones that I'm going to come to.
Yeah, I know when I was doing some research on it, it seemed to be something that was going back over the last 7 or 8 years even now, although this is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, the plans had been set a while ago. I believe they were rejected, but Herts County Council have now brought them back again in a new form that still hasn't made sure the residents are happy. So there's still that issue with safety over groundwater and how they're going to protect the greenbelt by doing this. So yeah, it looks like this one's going to run and run.
Okay, and I understand there are plans and discussions going on about building on the greenbelt with a service station for the M25.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much as you just said, you've covered the basics there. So they're looking to build a new service station on them around Hunton Bridge, so where the A41 meets the M25. And yeah, the local residents, again, horrified by the plans and have rejected them outright. They fear it would destroy the countryside, and they believe there's already lots of nearby services. So obviously, South Mims, Maple Cross, there's lots already around that area. They don't want to see that bit of the countryside destroyed. And looking at the plans itself, there's going to be, if it's built and if it gets to go ahead, spaces for 1,000 cars, a hotel built, food outlets, and a petrol station. So obviously a big industrial amount of work will go into it, and the local residents, obviously fearful of what's going to go on, have kind of come out with horror and have rejected the plans outright.
Yeah, and I gather that the Watford Observer is reporting that the councillors didn't think there were going to be any objections to this scheme. Is that correct?
Yeah, I haven't got the full details on that one. I've missed that from my notes, but I'll take the blame for that one. Yeah, I can imagine they probably did a survey like many of the things. They've done the survey and thought, we haven't got any problems here, but once they get everyone finds out, the small sample size doesn't in fact reflect the real position of people.
Yeah, okay. And Richard Harrington, the Watford MP, has kind of got a promotion from David Cameron.
Yeah, had a quick chat with him. The story that I saw on Wednesday night on Prime Minister's Questions, which saw Richard have a question about the apprenticeships, and on the back of this, George Osborne, the Chancellor, who was taking over from David Cameron for the week, announced that Richard Harrington was going to be appointed David Cameron's apprenticeship advisor. And I had a quick chat today at a meeting I will come on to in a minute, and he was just saying that due to the fact that he's done a lot of work in Watford with apprenticeships, David Cameron's seen the potential to bring Richard into a senior role within the government, saying you can advise me on how we should roll out our apprenticeship program throughout the country. So they're going to look to create another 1 million new apprenticeships over the course of 5 years. So Richard's going to be very influential in doing that.
Okay, and Watford Council have announced plans to refurbish the car park, which is kind of building on or following on from your news about Charter Place last week, because the two are not are interconnected, aren't they? With the council doing a deal with Into to get the ownership of the various car parks around Watford back, and they're now starting to refurbish them or something.
Yeah, I believe this is a story that we initially broke end of last year and we covered on the show, but the details have now been finalised. So Gade, Church and Sutton are now going to be redeveloped in a multi-million-pound project organised by City Park. So as you say, Into, who had previously run these car parks, maybe as part of the Charter Place deal, have now seen the deal go to City Park, who are going to bring in an upgrade, new CCTV, clearer signage, LED lighting, ANPR camera readers, contactless payments, pre-booking through a mobile app. So lots of new technology being involved. So it makes it easy for people to park in the satellite car parks, Gade, Sutton, and Church.
Okay, and talking of refurbishment, I gather there an article I should imagine is close to your heart with your links with the Waterways experience. I gather they're rebuilding the towpath down near Hunton Bridge. Yeah,
it was a quick short story. This kind of just tied it really. Warner Brothers got involved with the project, looking to clear a section of the towpath between Hunton Bridge and King's Landing. It's been regarded as a kind of dumping ground, really messy, untidy. So Warner Brothers, working alongside the Canal and River Trust, decided to get involved and have cleared up that bit of towpath by making it a bit better for walkers, cyclists, dog walkers, canal users, just tidying all that whole area up.
Okay, and finally, Alex, I gather that yesterday Watford hit the national news headlines.
Yeah, unfortunately for all the wrong reasons. Let me just consider my notes. Where are we? Yeah, so pretty much everyone here and everyone watching the show from Watford will know there was a bomb scare in Watford yesterday. A male has been arrested. He was wearing a burqa, and where after a suspicious package was found near the Travelodge in Market Street. Police, ambulance, Royal Artillery Guards are called, and the device was found not viable, meaning it couldn't go off if it was ever go into it, couldn't do any damage, and destroyed the controlled van around 1:30. Town was sealed off pretty much, Ring Road closed, Water Lane, Lower High Street closed for about most of the evening. It was open when I came home from drinks about 9:30, and detectives announced they're still trying to establish what exactly happened and the motives behind it.
Yeah, I mean, it did seem quite quiet, in town about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock when I was walking out and about there yesterday. So it obviously had a major effect on the town itself.
I was just going to comment actually on that. I think it's important to note this was a white man in a burqa. When we got our taxi home from the town centre last night, the taxi driver we had was a Muslim, and he was saying he and a lot of his people, a lot of his friends rather, who are resident in Watford, worry about the repercussions of how this seems. So it's important to get to the truth of what it's all about and why someone's trying to stir up trouble. But actually, Muslim community are very worried themselves about the implications of it.
Yeah, it's always sad when those kind of events happen, and somewhat tragic. But I gather, Alex, moving on, that you met Richard Harrington this morning because you're attending the same event for the Steve Sinnott organisation, which I gather is a teaching charity based in Watford.
Yeah, the Steve Sinnott Foundation. This is a one-off, me treading on Catherine's charity toes here. I don't mean to steal the spot again. This is a one-off. I got invited to the launch of their Education for All project, and it's pretty much a charity. They're based in Watford. Steve Sinnott lived in Watford, died in 2008, and the charity is set up in his memory and aims to provide education for everyone in the world, effectively. So grand aims. They've got they've worked out statistics, so 57 million people across the world don't enter primary education at all, and about 100 million don't enter secondary school education of any level, any quality level anyway. So they're looking to get children to understand, become aware of this, and form international collaborations with schools. So they had Richard Harrington speaking. They had a gentleman from a school down in Brighton area talking about what they do in similar circumstances. There's a lady, Angela, from the Women's Centre, I believe, was there. So she was talking about how education is important in what they do with women. A lack of education maybe affects how women get jobs after all these problems. Yes, it was a really important day, and good to meet the charity and find out more about them. And I believe they're going to come along to more meetings, especially the one on Monday in the Reason Coffee Shop, so we can sit down and talk more about how Link for Growth can help get their message out there.
Okay, and Catherine, Alex is coming back later with the sport, but you want to tell us more about all the charity news that have happened. And I think we're going to start with the Michael Green Foundation fundraiser, which happened on Wednesday evening.
It's a very good place to start. It was a fantastic evening. We had canal side cookery, which is a first. So we had Caroline Byrne from the Pampered Chef. Yes, thank you, Diane. From the Pampered Chef, who she holds parties, which is all to do with cookery, bakery products. That when someone hosts a party and proceeds from the sale of the bakery products, a percentage of that gets donated to a nominated cause. Tanya Clark very, very kindly hosted the party, and she decided that the proceeds would go to Michael Green Foundation, which is very, very sweet of her. We had a fun evening. We watched the sun go down, we did some cookery, and we did some eating of what we'd made as well, amongst other things. There was a marvellous spread laid on by Tanya, and Caroline provided us with a fantastic basis for getting stuck in with some cookery. And on the back of that, I've decided to hold a party myself, so sometime in August, everyone can pile around here, we can do the same thing. But yeah, it was a lovely evening. Photos courtesy of Diane, of course. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And so August 21st then is going to be invite only, isn't it?
It is, yes. We'll figure out numbers and sort out how many people we can squeeze into our garden. But yes, hopefully with a bit of fine weather, we'll have a lovely evening here as well. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, so what else has happened over the last week then in terms of fundraising events?
Right, okay, gosh, where do I start? So we had, what did we have? Where shall I start? There was, well, I mean, I went to an event at the Watford UTC yesterday, actually, which was a 50s event that they were holding with lots of jive music and going on. They're actually raising money through that event for Riding for the Disabled Association. It was a really good event. Everybody had a great time, organised by the students, right down to all the photography that was going on the day. And I know that Watford UTC is one of Richard Harrington's things that he gets behind very strongly as well. So great things going on there. What else has happened this week? Diane, prompt me.
Okay, well, I wasn't quite sure if you've been to anything to do with any other Michael Green events.
Not this week yet. This coming Sunday, Varsha Khatri and some other yoga teachers are holding an International Day of Yoga. This is a workshop where people are paid to come along and spend a day finding out a bit more about yoga, taking part. I shall be along there and saying a few words at the beginning of that and opening the event. Again, Varsha, along with the teachers, are donating proceeds split between two charities, one which is local to Harrow and the other one which is the Michael Green Foundation. So we're very grateful to Varsha. The following week, the other major event for the Michael Green Foundation at the moment is Marek, who is running a 50k run along the towpath of the Grand Union Canal. And that will be going from London into Canterbury Park. So there'll be some of us that are there at the start and some of us that are there at the end, cheer him on, which is a fantastic thing. I'll post the links up there for all these things. Any sponsorship for Marek would be absolutely delightful. There's lots of other things going on still as well. There's the Race for Life, I believe, was last weekend. This was in Canterbury Park. This was raising money for Cancer Research UK. What they're saying at the moment is that it was very well attended. Over 2,000 runners, raising a fundraising target, they hope, of £240,000. What they're really impressing is anyone who sponsored anybody in the race, can they please pay up and so they can get all the money in and get the money going to where it's supposed to be going.
Yeah, the thing I found interesting was Marek was saying he doesn't have to train for a 50k run.
That is fascinating, isn't it? I suppose if you run as much as Marek does on a daily basis and even more every single weekend, then you probably don't have to train very hard. He's doing it all the time. And interesting, actually, he was talking last night when we were at drinks about something that happens in Canterbury Park every single Saturday morning. I think he said it's 9 o'clock, I'm not sure, but it's Park Run, which is something that's taking off up and down the country. You can just turn up amongst, well, he was saying up to 50 or 200 people turn up at various different locations around the area. Just turn up and you run 5k around the park, and everybody has a really good time. So that's something to look out for as well.
And I gather that New Hope and Holiday Inn joined together for a unique event during the week, and I know Dorothy was there promoting it. Yes,
absolutely. New Hope Trust are growing. Now, I did have a little list of what they're actually growing. Things like spinach, chives, and lettuce. Just 3 of the products that they're actually producing in their market garden. And the Holiday Inn down by Watford Junction are using those ingredients in the dishes that they're serving in their restaurant. Mayor Dorothy Thornhill was there this week and saying Watford is a town that sets precedents and leads by example. It's a fantastic way of the community working together. You know, you've got a charity that's setting up these things and a local business that's using them. Absolutely fantastic. It's a perfect marriage.
Okay. Well, we'll hear more from you a bit later about events that are coming up in the next week or two. But in the meantime, it's back to Alex and sports. So have you painted that back wall a different colour, or have you just moved across to a different desk?
Same desk, different person. I'm back. I will be Neal for this week. But yeah, sport time. As always, big week this week. Watford. The fixtures were announced, so yeah, big week for the Premier League. Fans knowing where they'll be, what day they play on. So Watford kick off the season at Everton away on the 8th of August, so that's a trip up to Liverpool, first ever season. Their first home game is against West Brom on the 15th of August, and end the season against Sunderland at home on the last day of the season. So, good few fixtures there. All the information's on the internet at various sites. I thought I'd highlight a couple of key games. Obviously, as everyone probably knows by now, I am a Chelsea fan. Watford play Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge on Boxing Day, so there's the Boxing Day game. Everyone can take the train, which probably won't be running, down into London for a cracking bit of football on Boxing Day, and home against Chelsea on the 2nd of February. Again, all these fixtures subjects to change, so don't put them in the diary just yet. They may flip around, but we might have a little friendly bet between me and Neil for a good cause about the results.
Oh, okay, great. And I gather Watford also announced they've got a couple of fixtures with big teams, and also they've announced that they're going to be playing a German 4th Division team as a third game of their tour of Germany that Neil was talking about last week. But the two fixtures in pre-season fixtures in this country, one of them's against Cardiff, and the other one is quite special, isn't it?
Yeah, the one against Cardiff. So they're playing Cardiff last year in the Championship. Watford got promoted, so they're going down to Cardiff for a midweek game against Cardiff. I believe it's 7:45 kickoff on the 28th of July. And a few days later, Seville, who are the Europa League winners, big team in Spain, are playing the Champions League this year, are visiting Watford on the 1st of August. So I'm going to look to see if I can go along to those kind of games.
Yeah, so what is the Europa League Championship?
The Europa League is the second European trophy, so it's for the cup winners, the team that didn't qualify for the Champions League. So teams in there last year were Sevilla, Tottenham, Liverpool. I think now, who else was in that? I should really know. This is awful. Yeah, it's a Sevilla big team. They're in this year's Champions League. They've got some great players. They're looking expanding the squad. So yeah, I will come back to you, and hopefully either Neil or I will have a match report from these games.
Great. Okay. And cricket, Alex?
Yeah, cricket. As always, another win for Radlett. It seems like they're always winning each week. So Radlett went through in this week's match in the Shield Cup, and as is Abbott Stanley. Radlett now both teams are now in the semi-finals. Radlett now play Langleybury, and Abbott play Watford Town A in the semi-finals. And if both teams win, we'll end up in a repeat of last year's Shield final. So bear with us in the coming weeks, and we'll find out the news. And one other bit of news: Langleybury are through in the Davidstow Village Cup. They had a 1-wicket win against Reed, and that means they're now through to the national stages, where they'll play Buckinghamshire winner Vincent on the 28th of June. So more news on that next week, I'd imagine.
Okay, great. So, Chris, where are you? You're muted. That's better.
Yeah, I think you must have done that, because I didn't. Anyway, yes, I'm down in Croxley now. We spoke in the week about a exotic animal place in Croxley. Now, like I say most weeks, I lived here all my life in Watford, and I never knew this place existed. So I'm going to put you on front camera here. I'm just going to walk down this small lane, and it's really quite fascinating, because I'm in the middle of nowhere really, and yet this is not the middle of nowhere. It's actually Croxley, between Croxley and Watford, and this bridge here is a bridge over the canal, and it's a fabulous spot actually down here, one that I'm sure few people, unless they've come on the boat, actually get to see. So it's really interesting, and it gets a bit narrow down here. There are only a couple of cars, but I'm just going to take you down to the section where I'm not going to get a chance to speak to anybody. So even though I've got this fancy new mic, I'm not actually going to be able to use it, except for the fact that I'm talking and this mic is wedged in my pocket, which is quite convenient, so I don't have to hold it. But it's a little bit away from me, so I can actually talk quite comfortably without actually having to hold the mic. So Now, on the right-hand side, you can see this this green mesh, which is up, which is brilliant because it's stopping you seeing anything. To be honest with you, but it's starting to open up now, and I'm going to just walk down to the gates because there's a sign here which will tell you exactly what this place is. So here we go. It is the Castleberry Farm and Fishery, and you can see beyond this, if I just wedge the camera a little bit in between these things, you can see it's in the distance there is actually what appeared to be a load of sheds. Now, what I've done here is I brought my telephoto lens down here, which is going to be like a real first for us, and I'm going to try and zoom in so that you can see what this looks like right over there in the distance. And so you can see there's a few birds. Now I'm going to walk back in a minute. I don't know whether you can see. This is quite a long way away actually, these sheds. I don't know whether you can see what's actually outside them. I'm having difficulty, I must admit. But it's a really nice green spot down here. And
what's in the sheds, Chris?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, to be honest. I've got no idea. All I can do is show you what's over there. But what I am going to do right now is I'm going to take this camera lens off, and I'm going to walk back, and I'm going to use it again in a minute, because there are some birds up this end of the woods. I'm going to walk down a bit nearer to the canal, and I'm going to zoom in on those because I think you'll find that that's a little bit more interesting. But I can't see over the other side of this shed, but because of the wall. But you possibly can see what's on the other side of this if I hold the camera up.
Some overgrown grass and the shed.
Right. Okay. Well, that's very descriptive. What's over there now?
You can just about see the canal now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be walking down by the side of that in a minute. Unfortunately, the place is locked, so I can't actually get in there to talk to anybody. But perhaps that's another session for another day. But the weather is absolutely cracking down here, and as you can see, the scenery is quite remarkable. But here we go. Now, so in the distance there, I'm going to put this lens back on. Oops. Right, so in the distance there, you can see, now they look like pelicans to me, aren't they?
They look like pelicans to me as well.
There you go, look at that. Hey! Frisky pelicans maybe, but there's so this is what's going on down here. There's some quite exotic stuff going on down here. There's a load of birds over there as well. I don't know quite what they are, but just trying to hold the camera still so we can see. But anyway, it's this is it. This is in Watford. You know what I mean? It's like it's quite unusual because I wouldn't have even known this place existed until we discovered it in the week. And you can actually come down here, I think, but there's no phone number. We couldn't find a phone number to call them up and ask them if we could come and see them or anything. So, but it is listed on the Three Rivers Trust website, Alex? We saw it on.
Yeah, that's right. They're on the Three Rivers Trust website. If you just Google Castleberry Farm, they're on there. They've also got a Facebook page, a Twitter account, and an Instagram account. So that's probably the easiest way to find out the basic details. And yeah, organic. There's farms. There's an allotment. There's a fishery. They've got the exotic animals as we've seen there. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. And effectively, it's the middle of between Watford and Castleberry, which is the exact place you would expect to see pelicans.
Okay. Isn't it privately owned now? Because the watercress beds there are actually very well known. Years ago, they used to supply the markets in London. But I don't know whether that's still the case. Certainly, I remember something years ago about it being up for sale, but whether it went through, whether it was bought privately, whether there was some preservation order attached to it as well, I'm not sure. But it certainly seems that way, that certainly bird lovers will be happy.
Yeah, I mean, to get to this place, if you're interested, you have to go that roundabout that takes you to Croxley, the one that you come over the bridge at the bottom of Wiganall Road, Vickmansworth Road. You go over the bridge, you come to that roundabout, you take the right fork, go under the bridge, and then rouse by. So Link Road is like the first turning on the right. You go all the way down to the end, you turn right, then right again, and that's Rouse Barn Lane. And you go all the way along there, and then you turn left up this tiny one-track lane, and you appear here, and there are actually some houses down here as well, which like. You just wouldn't even know they were here. It's a strange place. If I turn around, you'll be able to see those houses. Look, they're in there in the background there. You can see those houses, and there's just one line of houses. It's quite unusual. So yeah, this is part of my my Let's See What's in Watford series, by the sounds of it, which it's quite interesting. It's a fascinating thing. If you've lived in Watford all your life and you just discover it every week, stuff you've never even seen or heard of before, it's quite remarkable. But yeah, there's something else I could do. I mean, to be honest, you're how far are you through the show? You've got quite way through it now, haven't you? So probably I'm not going to get another chance to go to another venue, but I'm putting venues aside for future shows, so we won't have to guess every week. Well, you can guess where I'm going, but I'll know.
Well, I think I'd like to know so that I can work out running time. But anyway.
Oh, you're not pulling rank or anything, are you?
I'm afraid so. As I said, your bits are highlighted in red for a reason.
Right. I mean, just another thing on that bomb scare. Of course, it wasn't a bomb, and who knows the reasons for doing it or whatever. But I was talking to Damien on the market earlier, and he said that there was another package that was considered to be suspicious, which was an old stereo unit, right? That they saw stuck in the road, and Damien went over and said, what are you doing? He said, this is suspicious, I'm calling it in. And Damien said, well, it's not very suspicious at all. It was somebody went onto the market, asked the guy to fix it, and the guy said 40 quid. So he said, well, sod that. So he just chucked it in the street. Right? So, and the policeman said, well, no, it's still suspicious. And he said, well, go and ask the guy on the market. He'll tell you. He's just, the guy wanted him to fix it. Anyway, he said, well, it's still not good enough. I'm still calling it in. So, what counts for suspicion? We're very fortunate that the whole area hasn't been cordoned off again. And I asked Damien, did it affect business? He said, if there was potential trade in the market, it would definitely have scared it away yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Right then. Catherine, there's lots of local events coming up, starting with the Sarah Flower Show.
Absolutely, yeah. I was about to take a swig of my tea there, but no. Yes, Sarah Flower Show is starting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. It's open Saturday and Sunday. Finishes at 5, I think. Also open Monday, I think, as well, until 3. There's refreshments, there's bric-a-brac, there's plant stalls. Pop along and enjoy. There's also a couple of concerts going on as part of their festival weekend as well. I'll post some details about that online, but concert on Friday night, which is one that they're charging for. There's also then a free concert on the Saturday night. So yeah, lots going on in Sarah.
Oh, sounds good. It sounds as if you were speaking with an orchestra in the background.
Whilst I've muted my phone, I haven't actually muted the tablet, so yeah, apologies for that.
Don't worry. Don't worry. And I gather the Peace Hospice is still looking for walkers for the Starlight Walk.
Absolutely, yep. You can still register for the Starlight Walk. This is happening on Saturday the 11th of July, so there's plenty of time to register still. It's a walk you can either choose to do for 6 miles or 13 miles, nighttime walk, but it's a fun, friendly atmosphere with lots of party musicians, performers going on all through the night. Registration is £25 for adults, £16 for children. Yeah, absolutely, register, have some fun and raise some money for a fantastic cause as well.
Okay, and also there's you're still looking for nominees for the Denture Awards, I gather.
Absolutely, yeah. You can still register someone who's done something amazing, changed the lives of people locally. You can still register online. There's a simple form to fill it in by Tuesday the 7th of July. There's various categories for volunteers, charitable groups, disability awards, sporting achievements. It's time to nominate someone for a special award who's done something special for others.
Okay, and St Albans Business Week is upon us, isn't it?
Almost, yeah, starting on Monday. This is St Albans Business Festival. There's lots and lots of things going on. There's a whole week of events going on where businesses can get together, have a chat about various things, various different forums. Some things they're charging for. Some events are free. All culminates with a barbecue lunch and awards lunch on the Friday. I'll post a link up for that as well, but that starts on Monday and it goes on all week.
Okay, and finally, I gather our friend from Yellow Comedy coming back to Reason.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, well, I think he's coming back for another 4 shows, but I know that the next one is the 3rd of July. It's going to be another fun-packed evening, I'm sure, just like the first one. Went down an absolute storm, so I think it's a Thursday again, isn't it? The 3rd of July, and I think it's a 7:45 start, but I'll check the details nearer the time anyway. But yeah, we look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great night last time, it really was.
It was. It was something a little bit different, and it was free. And this one's going to be free again as well. So you can just come.
You have to pre-book, don't you?
You have to if you let Neal know at Reason that you're coming, then he will put a seat out for you and put your name on it. Just so he knows numbers.
Great.
I've got a couple more things to very quickly rattle through as well. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Croxley Revels tomorrow is a village annual celebration of all things to do with summer. Starts at 1:30 till 5 o'clock on Croxley Green. Go along there and have some family fun. Peace Hospice are holding their summer fete on Sunday the 28th of June between 12 and 6. That's at the Sun Postal Sports and Social Club, 28th of June. Adults £2, children £1. Nice and cheap. Go along and have some fun. On Saturday the 27th of June is the South Oxy Fun Day. I haven't got a huge amount of details for that at the moment, but something to put in the diary, and I'll find out a bit more about that for later. On Sunday the 28th of June, Rickmansworth is having a French market, which will include traditional French produce, lots of cheeses, meats, all the usual favourite sorts of things. Again, I'll find out exactly whereabouts that is, but that's in Rickmansworth on the 28th of June. The only other thing to mention is all about the big festival in Watford, which is Imagine and Live combined festival. There's going to be, I think they've already started building some of the performance areas in Watford at the moment. So basically just look out for something that's going on. There's lots of things going on over the weekends, this weekend, next weekend. So there'll be performances, music, entertainment. It's all free. It's just in our high street, and it's there to enjoy. So do look out. If you've got the magazine that came through most doors in Watford, which is the About Watford magazine, then that will have the programme of details about it in there. The other programme that I got through today was the Watford Coliseum. I've got their new programme of events of everything coming up over the next few months as well. Loads and loads and loads going on. Just keep your eyes open, book it all up, and have some fun.
Sounds very good. And talking of fun, the wine tasting, I think we're now down to about the last 2 or 3 tickets. For that, so if you are interested in buying tickets, then see Alex, Chris or Neal at Reason. They're £25 a head, and that's for the wine tasting on the 9th of July, which is the second Thursday of the month. It's all in good cause for trying to help raise some money to put people through the Thrive programme, especially young people, and it will hopefully be a great benefit to them in a way that I know it's been to young and old alike over the last few years. Now on top of that, a quick reminder, we've got the photo competition, the national photo competition. This is a tree or a flower photograph taken in an urban setting, because what we're trying to do is capture the small bits of beauty that are surrounded by the concrete and streets and cars and everything, and how nature always breaks through. And you can enter any tree or photo competition, any photo of a tree or flower that you have, or a shrub or whatever, and just remember to put it onto any L4G site, but include the hashtag L4G Photo 2015. That's hashtag L4G Photo 2015. We're also planning a local photo event on the 4th of July where we're trying to get people to register their interest this week for an event that's going to take place on the 4th of July, where we're going to encourage people to do a photo splurge of everything in Watford on that one day. So we have a kind of snapshot time capsule of the events on that day. Everyone will then gather at Reason Cafe late in the afternoon. We'll select the best 80 from that. Now everyone's got 2 weeks to print their photos and frame them, and then Rebel Pebble will display the work for 2 weeks, and if they sell any of it, they will charge 30% commission, but there's no hanging fee. So if you want to be involved and think you want to start selling some of your photographs or something like that, then please register your interest and contact me through the Watford Link for Growth community page. Next week also sees quite a few Link for Growth events, including the launch of a breakfast meeting on Sunday. So after Chris and Alex and I will be at the market tomorrow, Alex, you can start telling us about this new launch event on Sunday.
Yeah, this will be the first Link for Breakfast event in SW Herts. It's going to be at the Junction Cafe on St Albans Road, so just round where St Albans Road meets Clarendon Road, 10 o'clock. The host is Martin Wilman. He's recommended the venue, and we've met the owner. He's very keen to get involved with Link for Growth. It should be a really good event, and looking like a good turnout with some different people, so come along Sunday at 10 o'clock.
Okay. And on Monday we've got 2 coffee events. The first is in the morning that you want to tell us all about, Alex.
Yeah, back in Moor Park, Northwood on Monday in Cafe Loco. Run really well, good coffee, good cake, really good, and looking forward to going back. I haven't been there for a while. Okay,
so where exactly is it in Northwood?
It's the best place to go is go to Moor Park Station from either from the Watford Met, or you can drive. There is the limited parking, so I'd recommend getting the tube. It's a 2-minute walk from Moor Park Station.
Okay, that's great. And in the evening, or from 5 till 7, we've got Link for Coffee at Reason, which is again an afternoon coffee event, and these are also usually fairly well attended, aren't they?
Yeah, this should be a good one. I've heard that the Steve Sinnott Foundation are going to come along and have a chat, and then good to see whoever else turns up. There's a few people who I haven't seen who I need to speak to, so they're going to be coming along.
Yeah, and we're having drinks in Bushy, which is your neck of the woods, on Thursday.
It is my neck of the woods, but I won't be there. Plans need to be changed. I cannot make it, so I will leave it in your capable hands, Diane.
Okay, that's fine. And Friday, it's time for the coffee on the canal boat again with Nash Mills with the Waterways Experience.
Yeah, back there this month. We've not got a trip this month, but we are back at Waterways Experience. You can find out what the charity does, who they try to help, and yeah, it should be a really good event.
Okay. And finally, Catherine, it's time for your restaurant review. I gather you've been to Ruby's in Bushy, or Bushy Heath, is it?
Bushy Heath, yes, not Bushy, it's Bushy Heath.
Actually, I know this restaurant quite well.
Okay, well, yes, so we've never been there. Been past it many, many times, never been in, thought, well, it's about time we did. And actually, it's a lovely little place. Very sort of black and white inside, lots of beams or whatever, very similar interior to the Three Crowns a bit further down the road. But actually with a modern twist, with lots of lovely woody furniture in there as well, and a very, very friendly welcome. So they've got a bar area, they've got a restaurant area, and then there's also a very nice landscape garden at the back as well. In terms of cuisine, you would call it English stroke international stroke Mediterranean. There's a very varied menu, something for everyone. If you love meat, if you're vegetarian, love fish, there's something for everyone there. Some nice sharing platters to choose from as well. Not badly priced, sort of mid-range price. Again, there's something to suit every pocket, I would say. As I say, they were very welcoming. At any time of day, you know, it's open all day, every day. We went at the weekend; it was easy to get a table, and as I say, we had a lovely welcome. They have a business breakfast networking meeting one evening as well. They do various special events. For instance, this coming Sunday they've got a special Father's Day menu on, of course, who hasn't, which again is very reasonably priced, 2 courses or 3 courses you can choose. So yeah, pop along there. Very relaxed atmosphere, elegantly modern with a little twist of an antiquatedness about it, but yeah, lovely. Go.
Okay, that's great. And I think that's about it for today's show. So unless anyone's got anything else to add, I shall say cheerio.
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 And hopefully next time we'll get the technical details a bit more sorted. But these things happen. Okay, bye-bye.